Rodney Hinton Jr., who is accused of intentionally running down Deputy Larry Henderson, filed this 5-page civil lawsuit on Thursday. He did so himself without an attorney. Hinton says his civil rights were violated. I looked through the complaints. The defendants include the Cincinnati Police Department, the Hamilton County Justice Center, and 10 unnamed officers and deputies. Hinton claims excessive force used by police during his arrest resulted in him having physical injuries. He also focused on this: Hamilton County deputies packing the room for his arraignment on May 3rd.
Good morning, Mr. Hinton.
Hinton claims that coordinated presence was, quote, clearly intended to intimidate. On Monday, protesters gathered on the steps of the Hamilton County Courthouse. We were there as the Black Panthers and other groups voiced support for Hinton.
We sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Prosecutors say Hinton targeted Deputy Henderson after watching body camera video showing a Cincinnati police officer shooting and killing his son. Authorities say 18-year-old Ryan Hinton was pointing a gun at an officer. These protesters say they didn't see one in the footage.
They don't see Ryan being shot down unnecessarily as being what caused Rodney to respond in the way that he did.
Iris Rowley with the Cincinnati Black United Front watched on Monday. She says the city has championed police reform and policy in the past 25 years, but she says when it comes to Ryan Hinton's case, there's still work to be done.
We're waiting to see preliminary review of the video footage. We're looking at all of that. It's all to be reviewed. We do not have all of the facts yet, and so we are awaiting that.
In Cincinnati, Valerie Lyons, WCPO 9 News.
All right. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High. And this is just in, as of yesterday. It seems that our brother Rodney Hinton Jr. has gone on the offensive, as well as he should do, because of the intimidation and the excessive force used in his arrest. Now, I'm going to show you another video kind of detailing more about this lawsuit, but apparently he has filed a lawsuit referencing the intimidation that we all seen with the officers filing in the court in an obvious attempt to intimidate him, to threaten him, to make him feel uncomfortable. Now, he also alleges that, during his arrest, there was some physical assaults. And of course, I'm pretty sure that there was because of the nature of his alleged charges. Now, it was good to see my brothers from the Black Panthers, my man Andrew out there as well, stomping and, rallying behind Mr. Hinton Jr. Now, they are still going with the narrative that, Mr. Hinton targeted the deputy. Now, of course, you've seen these videos from this channel. We have eyewitnesses that state that there was a woman driving the car. Several people have told me he was not the driver. And of course, we have pointed out that there is no footage of this. Now, the lady mentions the footage, in her conversation with the news people. But once again, I'm going to release some information later on today or tomorrow, which clearly shows that this information, as far as body cam footage of the particular accident, is being purposely withheld for the purpose of, painting or focusing the attention on Rodney Hinton, rather as the man said, the catalyst. Why are we here? The catalyst for this is because Mr. Hinton's son, Ryan Hinton, was the victim of a police-style execution. And so I think, if this is done as well on purpose, they're bringing all the police in and making him look like, super Negro who was able to, leap tall buildings in a single bound and has to be watched by thousands of deputies, or he's going to use his super Negro melanin powers to break the chains and just fly away. That is, once again, that is the presence of white supremacy in action. So shout out to my brother for filing the lawsuit. But this video right here is going to give you a little more insight on how and why he's filing the lawsuit, and of course how effective it would be. So once again, and if you notice, Rodney Hinton had never came out and said anything. He has never claimed that he did anything, despite his lawyers. I don't know what that lawyer was talking about at times, but, despite his lawyers, display of, the mental health and, he's not in his right mind. No, from what I understand, that man didn't do it regardless. So that's what we should be focusing on, innocent until proven guilty. But just watch this video right here, and it's going to give you a little more insight on the lawsuit.
Force, physical abuse, and intimidation. This is what Rodney Hinton Jr. is claiming in a new federal lawsuit against Cincinnati police and other members of law enforcement. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Brett Bagansky. WCPO 9 News reporter Connor Steffen shows you why Rodney Hinton thinks they violated his civil rights.
Good morning, Mr. Hinton. In the lawsuit, Rodney Hinton Jr. claims this scene at his arraignment and this scene during his bond hearing amounted to a coordinated effort by law enforcement to intimidate him.
He was walking out and how the whole precinct seemed to be in the courtroom.
We spoke with Antoinette Holloway. She isn't a licensed attorney, but filed the complaint on Hinton Jr.'s behalf. He's representing himself in the matter.
So when you got him behind closed doors, we don't know if he's eating. We don't know what's going on in there.
In the 5-page complaint, Hinton Jr., who is accused of intentionally running down Deputy Larry Henderson, says his civil rights were violated during his May 2nd arrest. He also claims officers used excessive force, resulting in visible injuries. We reached out to Cincinnati Police and the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office about the lawsuit. Spokespeople for both departments say they don't comment on pending legal cases.
It was emotional. He said that he just didn't expect all the support that he is getting.
Leaders of the Black Panther movement traveled to Cincinnati Monday in part to visit Hinton Jr. He's being held without bond inside the Claremont County Jail and faces charges including aggravated murder and felonious assault.
It was brief, but it was powerful. He appreciates our people standing with our people.
The group held this town hall Monday night to organize next steps in support of Hinton Jr. About 40 people showed up, including 24-year-old C.J. Robinson.
It could be me next week, and I can only imagine if I was killed unjustly, what my parents would do.
Robinson says he wants police held accountable for the deadly shooting of Hinton Jr.'s son, Ryan Hinton. Prosecutors say Hinton Jr. watched body camera video of the incident hours before the crash that killed Henderson.
A public statement, there needs to be some consequence.
Hinton Jr. could face the death penalty if he's convicted. In Cincinnati, Connor Steffen, WCPO 9 News.
And once again, shout out to the brothers from the Black Panthers and, all of the people who showed up for Rodney Hinton Jr. That room, that town hall should have been filled with people. As the article mentioned, once again, he is citing civil rights violation because of the high presence of the legal, the law enforcement at his trial and his bond hearing. You saw the courtroom and the hallways all filled in a clear attempt to intimidate my brother. Now he has someone on his team who is filing that lawsuit. That they had to point out, well, she's not an attorney. Well, what does that matter? Anybody can file a lawsuit. I can file a lawsuit. So that doesn't have anything to do with anything. And the brother is representing himself in the matter. But she's right. We don't know what's going on behind those closed doors. Is he eating? Is he sleeping? Are they providing him medical care? All of those things are in question because of, his perceived charge. And even the lawyer, when he walked in, you see the lawyer, good morning, Mr. Hinton. Good morning, Mr. Hinton. And just turn his head away like, man, oh, Lord, this is just a formality. That was the white lawyer, I guess. So that was after or before he hired the black man, which, again, he's not saying that Rodney didn't do it. He's going off the mental health factor now. Shout out once again to everybody who came out. But I think we got to be careful. Because once again, saying that, those things, well, as the young brother said, well, if I was killed by the police, I can imagine what my parents would do as well, which insinuates that our brother still did this. Now, once again, if you watch this channel, I've had several eyewitness statements and posts and things like that said, no, he was not driving the vehicle. And once again, I kind of concur with that, because if he was driving that vehicle, once again, that brother would probably already be lynched. You know, how they used to do it back in the days. If a black man was accused of doing something, they would have a lynch mob come to the jail, overtake the jailer, take the keys, take the man out, and then hold court in the street, what they call a kangaroo court, and then convict him and then hang him right then and there. So that because he's still living, you know, I would venture to say that, you know, there is some things that we don't know. Once again, I have some evidence from, you know, just examining news articles that, yeah, there's definitely information being withheld. And once again, if that information is being withheld from the public, then we always also have to ask ourselves why. But, you know, once again, we're always keeping our brother still in our prayers. And once again, he's going on the offensive, because once again, there's and I think this is a very tactical move on his part, you know, as a part of his vindication. I do not think that, you know, he will be held accountable for this based on the information that I've already got from, you know, sources that are close to the situation. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments. Once again, the number is 919-587-7782. Peace and blessings.